Hey, it's Archer from Paper, and today I'm excited to tell you about our newly released feature, SVG editing in Paper. And yes, that includes a pen tool. The basics of this feature are fully functional, but because there's just so much you can do with SVG editing, this is still in beta and a work in progress. As such, please DM or email us with any of your feedback when you get a chance to try it out. Now in today's video, we're going to walk through what's currently available, and we're also going to touch on some of our near-term roadmap items. And make sure to stick around till the end of the video because I'm going to show you some of the team's SVG explorations that are so cool they'll blow your mind. Let's get into it. Let's start by looking at the roadmap. What's currently available and what I'll show you today is editing paths, whether of existing or new SVGs, adjusting the fill color and the stroke color and width, importing and generating SVGs. We have Quiver AI integrated into Paper. You should definitely try it out. We'll create a whole new video on that as well. Moving, resizing, and rotating layers. All of that is available today, and we'll walk through that in just a second. But first, what's on our near-term roadmap? These things I unfortunately cannot show you today because they're not in there, but we'll create a new video once these are released. Things like Boolean operations, so unite and subtract. Improved snapping, we'll show you where that'll come in today. Path editing guides, converting shapes to paths, and cropping, scaling, and resizing SVGs. And then we'll also touch at the end of this video on our long-term roadmap items. Specifically, I'm going to show you some of our work on mirroring and repeating, and that's the super cool stuff. So let's dive into what's available now. I have this SVG that I copied into Paper, and if we take a look in the layers list, you'll see that we have this SVG layer, and inside it we have two paths. The SVG is kind of like a frame, and the paths are what will actually be editable. And of course, you can resize the SVG, but you can also resize each of the individual paths. So if we select that here and resize it, rotate it, and move it around wherever we want, that's all possible for each individual layer inside an SVG. But you can also edit the paths themselves. So with the path selected, I'm going to double click it to enter this vector editing mode. You'll see all of my nodes here. And now I can move those nodes around to directly edit the path itself. If I want to exit out of this vector editing mode, I can either double click on any empty space or just use the escape key and that will do the same thing. You can also edit the fill color of each individual path in an SVG. So let's change this to be a nice navy, and you can add a stroke. With the stroke, you can change the color, of course, and you can change the width of the stroke. So let's make this a little bigger. And here's something cool to show you. So if I zoom in, let's use this because it's a straight line here. You can see that there's this blue bounding box, and that's the fills bounding box for this path. You can see that the stroke is halfway outside and halfway inside. That's because we have above fill turned on. If we turned below fill on instead, you'll see that the fill is coming all the way to the edge of the bounding box, and this now resembles more of an outside outline rather than a center outline. So that's just something to note here. Now let's create an SVG from scratch using the pen tool. We can open this by either clicking on this pen tool button or using the keyboard shortcut P, and now we can just start drawing the shape we'd like here. Now, this is what I was saying here with the snapping. If I wanted to have this directly align here, that's something that's coming soon. It's not available right now, but what you can do right now is snap to each half pixel, unless you disable it. And if I hold down Shift, I can choose at any 45-degree angle where I want this to be placed, and then we can finish by connecting it there. Now let's add a little stroke, a fill color. There we go, and remove that stroke. So now I'm out of this vector editing mode. If I go back into it, but I don't have the pen tool selected, I instead have the move tool selected, I can now move any of these nodes like I showed you before. We can also add curves here. So if I hold down Command, now I can curve this. Maybe I want to zoom out a little bit. I can curve this and I don't even have to hold down Command anymore. You can see it's going to mirror on both sides. If I want each one of these control points to go separately, not be mirrored anymore, I can just hold down Option, and now I can do them one at a time to make this type of funky shape. If I want to go back to having them be mirrored, I can hold down Command again, and there we go. I can also do the same thing with an edge. So hold down Command, and in the middle of the edge, now I can curve this however I want. That looks good here, and I'm able to change the curve using these control points on both sides. If I want to add in another point along my vector, I can just go back into that pen tool And if I hover anywhere on the edge, I'll be able to add that point into the existing path. With the path selected, I can also add on an additional path. Well, it's actually still the same path. Off to the side, you can see we're still in that same path. If I wanted to add in a new path inside the same SVG, I'm just going to have the SVG or the path selected, but not be in the vector editing mode. Then I can open my pen tool. I can draw another path as well. You can see in my layers list, it's inside the same SVG, but it's a different path. And that means we can use different colors for it, different strokes, all of that jazz, move it independently, everything we've already talked about. Let's go back out of that vector editing mode here again by pressing escape. Now I'm going to use my pen tool again. Now technically the setup is all still the same right now, but I'm going to take my pen tool. This time I'm going to create a shape outside of this SVG bounding box. And now you can see we're still able to create that same shape. It creates a new path, but it also creates a new SVG container. Now you can still Command C copy it and Command V paste it into that original SVG. Kind of cool. As I mentioned, real SVG cropping is coming soon, but for now, when you have any of the paths selected or you're in vector editing mode for the paths, you can actually adjust the container, the bounding size of this SVG. By default, they're all 256 by 256, I believe. But if you want to scale that massively up, down, if you want to kind of crop part of this or get really close to the edges, you can do all of that by selecting a path and then adjusting the size of the frame. So that's the basics of the pen tool right now. It works really well, and we're excited to hear your feedback on it as we continue to develop more of our functionality. But now I want to show you some of the really cool stuff that's coming soon. Like I said, these are just mind-blowing. Okay, so first what you're seeing here is just the basic SVG creation, which we've already covered today. But now we're adding this mirror modifier, and it's mirroring what we just created vertically. And now everything we continue to do on that SVG is going to continue to be mirrored. So now it's created like a full enclosed SVG shape. And if we're moving one side, it does it for both sides. So this is pretty cool. I can't even tell you how many times I've basically tried to do exactly this in other tools and did not have success. So that's mirroring, super exciting. You can also do it along the horizontal axis as well. Next, let's talk about repeaters. So this part's super cool. I had my team make a quick little video of this morning. So once again, creating this shape here. Now we're going to apply a repeater modifier. This time we're doing a line repeater, but we could do grid or radial. So cool. Now you can adjust the degrees in between each of these. You can also adjust how many times you want this repeated, which is just insane. And now you're controlling everything at the same time. I just think this is so cool. Like, think of everything you can do with this. Like, this is a super basic example, but you can just do so much more. And again, since it's repeating the same thing, if we're editing that original SVG again, adding some more curve, adding some additional lines in here, I mean, it's just insane. Another thing you can see in this video is vector networks, which is also coming. One of the other things we're working on is anchoring. So I think this is so cool. Let's say you have a path and you have, like, in this case, it's a cursor looking shape or like a ball or something connected to that path. In the past, or currently, I guess, if you want to move that, you have to move the point that's in the middle of the path to a different point on the path. What we're thinking of doing is anchoring, so you can just move that object that's anchored to the path to another area on the path without adjusting the path itself. So it's gonna be really cool. Like most designers, our team has spent a lot of time doing SVG editing, and so we're trying to make this whole process of editing vectors as smooth as possible with great quality of life updates and some more experimental features that we all can relate to them, where you're like, oh, I just wish it did this. Our team is already thinking about those things. And the best way to stay up to date when we release those functionalities is to join our community either on Discord or on Slack, also to follow us on social media and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming, but the feature is already ready to go. So try it out, let us know your feedback, and thanks so much for watching this video.